SPM 2022, question number 3, Izato pemilik tunggal sebuah perniagaan. As usual, let us look at the requirement and be clear of what we need to answer. Anda dikehendaki menyediakan akaun perdagangan dan untung rugi bagi tahun berakhir 30 September 2022, and B, penyata kedudukan kewangan pada 30 September 2022. With this, we keep in mind the accounting period for the business in this question is from 1st October 2021 until 30th September 2022. It's a 12 months period. All right, with that, let's read through the details in the question. Izato pemilik tunggal sebuah perniagaan telah menyediakan maklumat berikut pada 1st October 2021. This is the opening date, right? These are the opening balances. Modal awal, inventory awal, machine cost, machine susut nilai terkumpul machine. This is all the depreciation until beginning of the year. So as long as the machine has been in ownership, the depreciation that has occurred, terkumpul, accumulated depreciation. Kenderaan pada cost and susut nilai terkumpul kenderaan. So this is all the depreciation until beginning of the year. For all the years that they have this asset bukan semasa. Pada 30 September 2022, so the closing balances are listed here. As you run through, we can quickly also recap. So with the idea of the account, perdagangan and untung rugi, these are the sections that we need to prepare. Jualan, cost jualan, right? And then we get untung kasa or rugi kasa. Then we maybe if there's other hasil, we tambah. If there's none, then we can tolak belanja, right? And see whether there's a untung bersih or rugi bersih. As for PKK, we want to list out the tabulate asset bukan semasa, followed by asset semasa minus liability semasa. Put the total here. Then we do the section on equity pemilik, followed by liability bukan semasa, and the total here. These two total must tally, must agree. So with this idea in mind, we're going to run through to see which of these items is going to be tabulated in what statement. Overdraft bank is a liability. It will appear in liability semasa. It will appear in PKK. Simpanan tetap bank is an asset semasa. It will appear in Penyata Kedudukan Kewangan. Pinjaman bank on its own, usually liability bukan semasa. But let's see this additional information. It has bayaran balik sehingga June 2023. You see the accounting period is 30th September. When they close account until the date this pinjaman has to be repaid is less than 1 year. It's less than 1 year's period from September until June. It's about 9 months. Therefore, this one is a liability semasa. PKK. Belanjaan will be a belanja in untung rugi. Faedah dibayar also a belanja in untung rugi. Faedah diterima is a hasil in untung rugi. Okay. Inventory is in the cost jualan section of untung rugi. It is also in the PKK, right? In PKK, it is the closing inventory that we need to tabulate. This is a belanja in untung rugi, penyelenggaraan kenderaan. Hasil belum terima will be an asset semasa in the PKK. Belian is in the cost jualan of the untung rugi. Pulangan belian, of course, settle in the cost jualan section of the untung rugi. Sewa dibayar is a belanja. If it's a sewa diterima, it's a hasil. So in this case, later we'll read the question, see whether this is a sewa dibayar or sewa diterima. Most likely it's a sewa dibayar. We'll read to confirm. Nak lompat tambahan later. Next, belanja perbaikan. Because this is a belanja untung rugi. Jualan is a jualan section inside account perdagangan. Account belum bayar is a liability semasa in PKK, right? Account belum terima is an asset semasa in PKK. Bayaran upah is a belanja in untung rugi. So we run through quickly, we know which items are involved for which statement, either this one or this one. The next thing is we have to be aware, not all items will use the amount tabulated here. we'll see whether or not this amount will have any changes based on maklumat tambahan. Based on maklumat tambahan, if they give us additional information, we have to do some adjustment and the amount we have to capture may be different. So let's read with the first one. Kadar faedah simpanan tetap adalah 6% setahun. Faedah dikreditkan terus ke dalam akaun bank perniagaan I1 pada akhir setiap 3 bulan. Faedah bagi 10 tahun sehingga 30 September 2022 belum lagi diterima. So, kadar faedah atas simpanan tetap. This is simpanan tetap. Faedah for this simpanan tetap is 6%, right? For 1 year. So, what 6% for 1 year, what is the total interest received? Pada faedah 12,000 times 6%. Total interest received for 1 year should be 720. This one will be the hasil for the company. It will reflect as a hasil in account untung rugi later on. However, based on maklumat tambahan, faedah dibayar pada akhir setiap 3 bulan. Faedah bagi 10 tahun sehingga 30 September 2022 belum lagi diterima. So the final quarters, so every 3 months, 1 year has 4 times of 3 months, right? So the last quarter, this one divided by 4, the last quarter, the 180 ringgit faedah belum diterima. This one belum diterima will become reflected as asset semasa inside the PKK, right? So you have this one shown as you're working to check your faedah diterima, show in your answer script. We are doing here for ease of reference and explanation in lesson. In the exam, you do this in your answer script. Later, it will be used to support your Penyata, Kedudukan, Kewangan, and to support your Penyata, Untung, Rugi. Next. Number 2, I1 mengambil barang niaga 815 untuk kegunaan sendiri. So out of the belian amount, 19,717, there's an ambilan, 815. So belian will have to be adjusted. Belian will be 19,770 minus 815. It is 18955. This one will go into your cost jualan in your untung rugi. Right? So you can have this in your working. To check your belian amount, you show neatly in your answer script. Next, maklumat tambahan number 3. I1 telah menjelaskan akaun belum bayar dengan menggunakan cek peribadinya. So, akaun belum bayar, if dijelaskan, it has to reduce. First of all, reduce by 1325. So, akaun belum bayar in the PKK will become 8620 minus 1325. It will become only 7,295. Liability semasa in the PKK will take this amount. And then the next thing is you have to make sure this one must be included in the equity section of PKK. Ambilan will reduce from modal awal. So this one will be the equity section of the PKK. Reduce. So you have this in your working in the answer script also. Next, number 4. Susut nilai mesin adalah pada kadar 20% setahun berasaskan kaedah garis lurus. Susut nilai dikira atas bulan pegangan aset bukan semasa berkenaan. Atas bulan pegangan, take note of this. That means the depreciation is computed based on the months of ownership. If it's not exactly 1 year, you cannot depreciate for 1 year. You must follow how many months of ownership. So how many type of asset bukan semasa do they have? There's machine and there's kenderaan. Let's continue. Pada 1 January 2022, sebuah mesin telah dijual secara tunai dengan harga 7,000 ringgit. Kos mesin tersebut dibeli pada harga 14,000 pada 1 Julai 2020. Tunai tersebut telah digunakan oleh I1 untuk tujuan peribadi. Now take note from here, there's an ambilan. Later, ambilan must include this 7,000 ringgit tunai by I1. This one will impact the equity section of the PKK. Next, about the machine, we got to check the susut nilai and susut nilai terkumpul with the consideration of this machine yang telah dijual. So let's look here. There's cost machine and susut nilai terkumpul machine here. To summarize the information given in the maklumat tambahan, there's a machine with the cost 14,000 ringgit. And telah dijual pada harga 7,000 ringgit. So dilepaskan pada harga 7,000 ringgit. This machine was purchased or has been in ownership since 1st July 2020. So take note, this machine was in the business since 1st July 2020. What is the date the machine was disposed of? Dilepaskan on 1st January 2022. 1st January 2022. So take note now, the machine disposal date is 1st January 2022. The accounting period end is 30th September 2022. Now, so from beginning of the accounting period, 1st October until 1st January 2022, the machine was still in ownership. So this one machine yang dilepaskan, machine yang dijual. The susut nilai for the year, susut nilai machine, for this particular machine yang dijual, you have to check for the 3 months ownership. You see, from beginning of the accounting period, 2021, till the disposal date, 1st January 2022. Within here, there are how many months? October, November, December, until 31st December. 31st December 2021. The next day is 1st January 2022. So there are 3 months of ownership. In these 3 months of ownership, we must check the susut nilai. Susut nilai is 20%, right? Atas garis lurus, that's confirmed. Okay, 20% atas garis lurus. So we compute here, 20%. Now, if we stop here, this is the 1 year depreciation. We have to apportion because the ownership is for 3 months. After 1st January, it has been disposed. So the susut nilai for these 3 months is 14,000 times 20%. Apportion to the 3 months. So 700 ringgit depreciation for machine yang telah dijual. At the same time, please note, after they sell the machine, they dispose this machine cost 14,000. They still have other machine in the business because total jumlah cost machine is 39,390 minus the cost of the machine being sold off 14,000. They still have this much machine in the business, 2,52390. There's still a machine worth this. So there's still susut nilai machine yang masih ada. There's still yang masih ada, masih kekal in the business. So the cost of the machine, 2,52390. This machine are in the business for the full 12 months. So the susut nilai for the full 12 months is 20%. 2,52390 times 20% is 5,078. Now, this is susut nilai for the year for asset machine, 700 plus 5,078. This amount will be captured as a belanja or susut nilai machine in the account Untung Rugi. This is about susut nilai for the year, right? This machine, although before disposed, it was used for 3 months. Depreciation for the 3 months. This is the machine still in use throughout the year. The depreciation for those machine used for the full 12 months. So this is susut nilai machine in the account Untung Rugi. Susut nilai machine to record as belanja in Untung Rugi. How about susut nilai terkumpul machine? Take note, this particular machine has been disposed. It has been in ownership since 1st July 2020. Let's check the susut nilai terkumpul for this machine yang telah dijual. Right, susut nilai terkumpul for machine yang telah dijual. Right. Since 1st July 2020 until 30th September 2020, right? From July to September, July, August, September, these 3 months, what is the total depreciation from it was first bought until the accounting period and on the year it was bought? You take the 14,000 cost times 20% times, again, apportion 3 months. So in that year, depreciation in the year the machine was newly bought, was newly bought on July 2020. In the same year, the accounting period end, it has been only 3 months old. That's the depreciation. So in the following year, 1st October 2020 to 30th September 2021, this 12 months period, 12 bulan, the machine, this piece of particular machine has a full year depreciation, which is going to be 14,000 times 20%, 2,800. So this duration, it has been in use for the full 12 months. So depreciation is 2,800, right? From 1st October 2021 until the day it was disposed. Disposal date is January 2022. So until 1st January 2022. How many months here? So again, another 3 months, October, November, December, 31st. So it's another 3 months here, right? Now 3 months here, the depreciation is another 700 ringgit. A similar calculation based on the cost, 14,000 times 20% times the 3 months, right? So the accumulated depreciation, susut nilai terkumpul for this machine yang telah dijual, in total is 700 at 2008, at another 700. It's 4,200. So I highlight here. This is susut nilai for the machine that was sold off. The machine has been in ownership since 1st July 2020 and disposed on 1st January 2022. So the total depreciation, accumulated depreciation for those years throughout the 18 months, 3 months, 12 months plus another 3 months, 3 bulan, 12 bulan, and 3 bulan. Total susut nilai terkumpul is 4,200. Now, in this susut nilai terkumpul amount, it is including this, it has included this. So we must deduct. We take 13,190 minus 4,200. Susut nilai terkumpul machine pada awal tahun is going to be 13,190 minus 4,200. It is 8,990. So this is susut nilai terkumpul awal tahun for machine. Awal tahun based on opening date 1st October. We take this amount, add with susut nilai for machine in the current year. We will get susut nilai terkumpul machine, accumulated depreciation. Susut nilai terkumpul machine is the green color one. 8,990 add with 5,778. You get 14768. This green color highlight is a susut nilai terkumpul for machine that is still in the business. Then this will go to the asset bukan semasa in the PKK. Deduct from the cost machine. Okay, so basically just to recap, the blue color, we are checking susut nilai terkumpul. Susut nilai terkumpul for machine yang telah dijual. We want to check because we want to eliminate from the balance in the susut nilai terkumpul. We want to eliminate, we want to remove it because the machine has been disposed, it's no longer with the business. We have to eliminate, we take it out. So the balance of susut nilai terkumpul 8,990 is the correct susut nilai terkumpul machine yang masih ada in the business, still with the business. And this is opening balance, 1st October 2020. This susut nilai for the current year, this year end for the accounting period is 30th September 2022. We are checking for this current year susut nilai. We have to add on early in the year, susut nilai early in the year, add susut nilai during the year. We have susut nilai terkumpul end of the year updated version for reporting inside asset bukan semasa in the PKK. So this piece of working is very lengthy, right? Make sure you tabulate in your answer script. So this is jalan kerja number 4. You do your own numbering. So later you can refer to nota 4 in your Penyata Untung Rugi for this one and refer to nota 4 for your Penyata Kedudukan Kewangan for this amount. So that's about susut nilai machine. It's rather lengthy. There's a complicated scenario for that particular year. Okay, so try to understand it. Now there's still one more item about this machine dijual. Since it is being disposed, dilupuskan, we have to find if there's a untung or rugi pelupusan. So once again about the machine dijual, the cost is 14,000, right? The harga pelupusan is 7,000. And this is the susut nilai terkumpul amount for this machine dijual. So now we want to find nilai buku for this machine yang dijual. So we take the cost of the machine, 14,000, minus the susut nilai terkumpul machine, which we have checked from the first day it was bought until the day of disposal, right? It is 4,200. This outcome is the nilai buku. Nilai buku is how much? 14,000 minus 4,200, 9,800. This is nilai buku. We take cost minus susut nilai terkumpul. You can get nilai buku. Nilai buku based on the books is 9,008, but they managed to dispose. They managed to sell at 7,000 only. So in this case, there's a rugi pelupusan. Rugi pelupusan machine, which is 2,800. Because nilai buku is greater than harga pelupusan machine. So rugi pelupusan is 2,800. And this one will be captured inside, it's part of belanja in the Untung Rugi. It will reduce Untung percent later on. So this is part of your notes, note 4 about this machine dijual you have to capture. Okay, next we look at next information. Susut nilai kenderaan. 4 and 5 is about machine, and this should be number 6. This should be number 6. Number 6 is about susut nilai kenderaan adalah 25% setahun berdasarkan kaedah bagi perkurangan. So look at kenderaan. The cost is 21320 per tier. This one could be nota number 5. So for kenderaan, susut nilai kenderaan in this year, we take the cost of the kenderaan 21320 minus susut nilai terkumpul kenderaan 8520. We multiply with the depreciation rate. Bagi perkurangan depreciation rate 25%. So with that, 21320 minus 8520 times 25%, we get a 3,200. So this is current year depreciation for the motor vehicle. This will be reflected as a belanja item in the Untung Rugi. Next, we also have to check accumulated depreciation, susut nilai terkumpul for kenderaan. So again, we take the opening balance of susut nilai terkumpul 8520, add with the susut nilai for this year 3,200. With that, we get the accumulated depreciation susut nilai terkumpul akhir tahun 720 RM 11720. This one will be in asset bukan semasa in the PKK. We deduct from the cost of kenderaan later on. Okay, so have this working in our answer script also. Number 6, now number 7. Pada 30th November 2021, tunai 2380 telah diterima atas hutang yang telah dihapus kira pada 30 September 2021. So this is hutang lapuk pulih, bad debts recover, right? We will have a hasil here. This one will go into hasil in your account Untung Rugi. Tunai tersebut telah digunakan untuk bayaran sewa. Semua urus niaga belum lagi direkodkan dalam mana-mana buku. So take note, sewa should increase by 2380. What's the sewa? Sewa amount is 1950. We add 2380. So belanja sewa is now 4330. So belanja sewa inside Untung Rugi. So we can have this as nota 6, your jalan kerja, with showing the answer script also. Right. So with all the information tidy up, we can now prepare part A with account perdagangan dan untung rugi bagi tahun berakhir 30 September 2022. So the very first item here will be the jualan, right? So all in ringgit. Jualan amount as read from the question 89490. There is no pulangan jualan, no pulangan jualan information. There's only pulangan belian. So the next section we go to will be tolak cost jualan. The cost jualan section, the first item is inventory, our opening inventory. As stated in the question, opening inventory is 10,620. Next, you add belian. Belian amount given in the question is with adjustment, nota 2, jalan kerja 2, it should be 18955. So 18955. Belian refer to jalan kerja second one. If that's a numbering in your own answer script, we put accordingly. Next, we can minus pulangan belian. As seen in the question just now, pulangan belian is 1410. So let's minus this amount. Let's put a subtotal. Inventory awal plus belian in total. This is cost barang untuk dijual. And then we can minus stock akhir or inventory akhir. Inventory akhir in the year is 11,220. So let's deduct this amount. With that, we'll get the cost jualan. So jualan is greater than cost jualan, you'll get an untung kasa, gross profit. Right. It's good. Untung kasa amount, we can add hasil line. Hasil. So what's the hasil here? That's a hutang lapuk pulih. Based on the last information, 2380. Next one is faedah atas simpanan tetap. Annual interest on fixed deposit, 6% setahun, which is 720. So refer to jalan kerja in your own answer script, put the number accordingly. Let's put a subtotal. CASA has increased to this amount 75645. Now we can minus expenses. Tolak belanja. The total expenses we go through here Belanjaan. Belanjaan has no maklumat tambahan, no pelarasan, so we take from here 7805. Next item, faedah dibayar. Also no maklumat tambahan, no adjustment, we take the amount as given. Interest expense 1,080. This is hasil dan belanja penyelenggaraan kendaraan. Next one. No adjustments, so we take it as it is, 3955. Next, sewa. Sewa, there's a working, so tie to your working in your answer script. If it's number 6, then you put number 6. Sewa amount should be 4330. Next, belanja pembaikan. This one also has no maklumat tambahan. We can use the amount as it is. Belanja pembaikan. 170. Upah, salary. Upah also doesn't have any adjustment. It's 9290. We can record about the machine. The susut nilai machine for the year 5778. So this is recording depreciation for that year only. So follow our jalan kerja numbering is number 4, 778. 778. Right? Apart from that, there's a Rugi pelebusan machine. Ini it's also from the same piece of working, 2,800. Next, we have susut nilai for kendaraan. Susut nilai kendaraan is 3,200. Let's sum up the total belanja for the year. Okay. Untung kasar with hasil is still greater than belanja, so there will be a untung bersih for Isato. You can put a double underline here. So that clearly, untung bersih amount is 36.37. Okay, let's continue with Penyata, Kedudukan, Kewangan. First section is Aset, Bukan Semasa. Underline. First asset is the machine. Now the cost machine, as we can see here, it should be 25390. Also refer to note 4. 25390. Minus susut nilai terkumpul machine. Nilai terkumpul machine, which is also equal to 14768. Cost machine, be careful, is 25390, not 26390. So be careful, read properly. Next asset is kendaraan. The cost is 21320. Minus susut nilai terkumpul kendaraan jalan kerja 5. Susut nilai terkumpul kendaraan is 11,720. Okay, so let's check nilai buku kendaraan. That's 9,600. So let's put a subtotal for asset bukan semasa. Okay, with that, we prepare the next section, which is asset semasa. Item is inventory akhir. The value of closing inventory 11,220. Entering on the closing date, 11,054, right? Let's run through here. This is liability. Simpanan tetap bank is asset semasa. The amount that's given here, 12,000. We can also reflect faedah atas simpanan tetap belum terima. Belum terima. Tie to our working, or tie to the working in your answer script, the first one, which is 180. Next, hasil belum terima 390. Saya aset semasa. Any more? Account belum terima. Account belum terima is 9430. You say as it is, no adjustment. Let's put a subtotal for asset semasa. Next, we minus liability semasa. Liability semasa will be overdraft bank, for 325. Pinjaman bank, bayaran balik sehingga Jun 2023. This is a liability semasa. June 2023. So this liability semasa amount is 6,000. That's account belum bayar. So with jalan kerja, it should be 7295. So refer to jalan kerja number 3, 7295. So the subtotal for liability semasa. Total asset semasa minus liability semasa, we get to our modal kerja. Some modal kerja. Let's sum up this with asset bukan semasa. So total of asset bukan semasa with modal kerja. This is the total for the first section of the PKK. Right, let's prepare the next section on equity per million. Modal awal. First, the modal awal amount is given here, 5775. Right, add Untung bersih. Our answer in A, 36537. So that tolak ambilan. So there are a few items in the ambilan to take note from our working earlier on. You can prepare a separate working, or you can do a small working here. There's ambilan barang niaga 815. There's ambilan. This is not ambilan, just a minute number. This note, let's read again. 1325. Cek peribadinya. Okay, this is actually modal tambahan. Izato telah menjelaskan account belum bayar 1325 menggunakan cek peribadinya. This Izato contribute to the business, so there's an error here. This is corrected. This should be Modal tambahan. Modal tambahan by Izato. She put in her own money to repay account belum bayar. So this is not ambilan. This is ambilan taken from the business 815. All right. And also there's Izato has taken from 100% machine 7,000 in Berlian. So these are two items. 815 Berlian barang niaga Izato has a drawing in the form of Berlian and this 7,000 cash. So total ambilan is 7815. Right? The amount is actually a modal tambahan. She issued check for account belum bayar modal tambahan 1325. So we put a subtotal at this point first. Then with modal tambahan, we can total this section, see whether we can make tally with here. In this question, there's no liability bukan semasa, so it should end here with equity section. See whether we can get tally. So it's 35822 and 35822. So our answer should be correct. That's B. That's the answer for this question.